One of interesting science meetings that we have in South Africa is the Science Forum that normally happened at the end of the year, around December, where all the science centers, institutions come together to showcase what they are doing in the Science Forum. So we are having, and they also have a theme that says igniting conversations around innovation and a science that is for the humanity. So we grabbed one of the attendees, Professor Sudesh from UCT, who has a very interesting stand there and will give a nice talk there. But I don't want to take it very much further. Prof, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me here, and thanks to NRF for hosting me on this talk. By means of introduction, I'm Sudesh Sivarasu. I'm a professor in biomedical engineering and a SARChI chair in biomedical engineering and innovation. Yes. And I direct a center for biomedical engineering research at the University of Cape Town, and I run a unit called UCT MedTech. So in the Science Forum South Africa 24, we are having an exhibition on UCT MedTech, and then I'm also running a session on engineering and healthcare. This is primarily aimed at igniting conversations around how we can use engineering for betterment of health and indirectly betterment of humanity.
Okay. When I had MedTech, I'm thinking devices. Do you guys have these devices that are addressing critical society problems in medicine? Yeah.
Absolutely. So okay. MedTech is a short abbreviation for medical technologies. Okay. So our unit focuses on creating medical technologies based on unmet clinical needs originating from our hospitals. Not hospital from Europe or not hospital from USA. We want something that, a problem that is very specific to South Africa and Africa. We pick out the problems that are ignored and we try to create a solution for that using technologies. So we have an array of technologies that we have developed. We have a large patent portfolios around that, but that's not the end of it, because at the end of the day, we want to translate these innovations into the hands of people who need them the most. So we focus on creating this pipeline of innovation that can be translated into something that is usable by the clinics. And also by doing that, we are able to get proudly South African products, health products coming out of our centers.
Okay, so do you have an example of a product that will either have big impact in the future or one that is already having a big impact or promising to impact the society in a positive way?
Absolutely. So we have quite a few innovations that have crossed the chasm of innovation, which is laboratories to go into the market or to go into the needs of the patients. So I can start with something very simple. Okay. There's a solution called ptosis crutches, which are crutches that are used for lifting eyelids, and it's a neurological condition where the eyelids droop and you can't surgically fix it. So we came out with a very innovative solution, fully 3D printable crutch that can go on to a standard glass, to anybody's glass. It can fit on that. It's a universal fit, and that will help the patient to lift their eyelids. It sounds like a very simple solution, but there is no such solutions globally.
Wow.
So we had the IP on that technology, but what was also interesting was this condition was very specific to African ancestry. So we wanted to make the impact even larger. So we made that open source. So coming to open science, open source of this technology into hardware open source technology, and that actually was South Africa's first open source medical device. And now this particular technology is being used in 17 countries and thousands of patients are using it. We get requests almost on a weekly basis for these crutches. This is something that we have done that has made such a large community impact. But coming on to other side of technologies, we have been very busy with creating ventilators during COVID. We were part of the National Ventilator Project for testing the ventilators. You know the success of the National Ventilator Projects, where there were 20,000 ventilators made during the peak of the pandemic. But from my unit specifically, there have been a few technologies that have actually crossed into the market. For instance, we have a asthma device for kids to help kids, use their meter dosage inhalers or the asthma pumps. We have created a solution that is actually now, it makes it easier for kids to play with these asthma inhalers and use them, avoiding the taboo. and we have already sold these solutions into the market. Then we have an auto-injector device that is used for anaphylaxis that has completed its first-in-human clinical trial. We have a subsequent technology called FlexiGyn, which is now rolled out through a company, or startup company from our center called MedTech, which is addressing female healthcare issues, particularly about screening and doing hysteroscopy in the clinics. And then, one of our last startup companies around sleep apnea technology called Inspire. So where we want to take something that is specialized, tertiary hospital specialized interventions to the community. So with these, sleep is a critical factor in human health, and we are noticing that with modern lifestyle and the exposure to a lot of unnecessary things, the sleep quality gets affected, and a large population in the underprivileged areas don't get good quality sleep. We want to take this solution into their space as well. So we have an array of technologies that have actually gone above and beyond what an academic institution would do, and our focus is on community impact. But in order for us to create this community impact, we have to be thinking the bigger ecosystem problem. So that's where I think the innovation ecosystem plays a very important role, and we have been trying to address the gaps within that in our journey.
Yeah. So we're talking inclusivity, and clearly your research is really impactful, directly impacting people's lives positively. But now let's talk about accessibility and affordability of your research. You did highlight that you're trying to cover as much. What is the plan of reaching out? For example, even myself, it's first time hearing some of this technology. How are you planning to reach out even the less disadvantaged rural areas, get to at least have knowledge and afford and get access to this technology?
Absolutely. So I think that's one of our primary objectives, to make technologies not only affordable but also accessible.
Okay.
But primarily between affordability and accessibility, there is another AA element which is called appropriateness.
Okay.
So we focus on creating technologies to make it appropriate. So once it is appropriate, where it is usable in our communities, where it is addressing our community related health issues, then there are multiple means and modalities through which we can make it accessible. So we focus on making technologies appropriate to begin with, so that it fits into our national Department of Health, or even for our NHI, when it gets deployed, or even if it goes into the private healthcare, it goes into the ICD-10 codes for reimbursements. So we are strategically aligning it in such a way that it fits into the national priorities, and so that it can be implemented through the National Department of Health's strategic plans.
Yeah.
So I think innovation or devices cannot be seen in isolation. You need to fit your innovation into the larger ecosystem so that it can reach the larger masses that we are looking into. So some of our projects where we are, some of our research where we are looking into creating impact directly in the community, we work with philanthropic agencies to take this, to scale the solutions that we are developing to reach the communities as such. And a crucial part in this whole exercise is communicating what we are doing.
Yes.
And we take active efforts in communicating and indicating that our technology is safe and effective and it's appropriate, right? And I think it's quite important that we do that, send the message of hope that we are able to create solutions that are not only affordable, but they're also very safe and very reliable. And I think it's quite important that as innovators we need to be factoring that in our effort to translate into communities. And there have been quite a few initiatives that we are driving for taking this not only into community but also into private sector, but also into the global market as such.
So say there's a biomedical engineer out there. Let's talk to the next generation. What if you leave? I know that you've been here for years and you've been leading this. What would you like the next generation of biomedical engineers to focus on? This will also highlight on current challenges or current things that you feel like they're not tackled and they should be looked into in the future?
That's a great question. So, a future biomedical engineer would, I would say, let's not be shy about technologies, or let's not shy around the advancement in technologies and fear these, machine learning and artificial intelligence. There's a lot of fear mongering around the usage of these technologies in the broader sense.
Yes.
I think you really need to have your hands-on skills in building solutions and try to adopt all these futuristic technologies. Today it's machine learning, tomorrow it might be something else. But what will not change is the human factor. What will not change is the power of touch that we still have. And I think we need to embrace these strengths of our human nature to go on to the innovations. Because if you ask me, a solution, you can create technologies that can help people to feel better, but you still need that human interface. And I would say, as a future biomedical engineer, do not forget this human factor, the human interface, because that is what is going to make your technology humane.
Okay.
Right? So that's quite crucial in this whole equation.
Okay. So that was for the future engineers. Let's say now a policymaker, decision maker is watching us in this conversation. How can they make life easy for you guys in your research space? How can they support your research field?
Okay. So if a policymaker gets to be on this conversation, I think I would say, let's not look at innovation in isolation. Let's try to look at the innovation in the larger ecosystem space. So with medical technologies, we have a specific problem around regulations. So we need to work with the regulators, and the regulators will need to be inclusive of local manufacturers, local innovators, to go and get regulations approved, because we need to ensure safety of the device before I can put it on a patient. So we need to fast track that process if possible. Second, we need to prioritize local innovators and locally manufactured medical devices. So local procurement is quite crucial if we were to feed into our strategic plans like the MedTech Master Plan. So if we really want the medical device, medical technology sector to grow in South Africa, we need to prioritize local procurements. Okay. And we need to ensure that we are having all the regulations in place so that there are more and more people willing to come into this space. We are about 57% of our total medical devices are being imported. That's a big, we are spending billions of rands in import of these medical devices, and I think we need to be cognizant of that factor. And there is a bigger opportunity for creating jobs. There is a bigger opportunity for doing things that will not only improve healthcare, but the whole economy, like in a circular economy fashion. You could get all of this included if we can focus on locally manufactured medical devices.
Okay, so you'll be giving a talk today?
I'll be running a session tomorrow where I'll be talking on how we can look into bridging the various players in healthcare, like academia, public sector, private sector, Department of Health, regulators. How can we come together to ideate or create solutions that are usable across our healthcare sectors?
Okay, so what is the key takeaway from your talk?
From the talk, yes. So we can't do it alone. In academia, we can't do it alone. In Department of Health, they can't do it alone. But private sectors, they can't do it alone. So we'll have to be collaboratively addressing this issue or tackling this problem.
Thank you so much, Prof, for your time. Is there anything that you would like to highlight before we close our session, or anything you're looking forward to?
I look forward to all of you coming to our exhibition in A2, where we have some very exciting innovations on display. We are building what is called an innovation tree, and we are requesting all our participants to come and contribute to your question on what would be the next big medtech.
Yes.
So please come to our exhibitions and contribute to the innovation tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are still in the theme, igniting conversation on science, focusing on innovation and science that directly impact humanity. That was it from Prof Sudesh at UCT.